The born-again experience of all of this makes you twofold the child of hell. That's why he said it that way. And then he said, you're like whited sepulchres, beautiful on the outside, but within are full of what? Dead men's bones. I'm going to show you a graphic here. Have you ever seen this before? It's called the Skull and Bones Society. George Bush, John Kerry, both of them bonesmen, skull of bones. The bones cross like this. Why? It's the X chromosome. The skull, you know what the skull is a picture of, the place of the skull? The skull was pierced by the cross of Jesus. That's how he has victory over the Antichrist and over the power of death. Okay? See that picture? That's what the skull and bones is. And he says to all of these people here, you look nice and pretty on the outside, but inwardly you are full of the Antichrist, dead men's bones. The lost symbol. The lost symbol is all about what's buried underneath Washington's monument, which is a giant Baal's shaft. That's what that is. And there's a secret buried down underneath there, like in a coffin, in a casket. And it's going to rise up one of these days, like Kundalini. That's what Leonard Sweet talks about. Kundalini's fire. He said that's the power of God, man, in your heart. Bunch of New Age hippie garbage is what that is. Okay? So, look again at this symbol, the skull and bones. It's inside of a casket. Now I want you to notice the four directions, north, south, east, and west. How many directions? 4. That's telling you that this is the language of symbols. And if you read the Bible, you can understand the language, because the Bible's going to tell you the truth. What does Abraham... Genesis chapter 13, when Lot chose the well-watered plains of Sodom, he lost it all, because Sodom's gone. What did God promise Abraham? He said, look northward, southward, eastward, and westward, and all that your eyes set upon I'll give to you. He's going to give him a city that's built 4 square. New Jerusalem. Isn't that beautiful? Now look at this emblem again. North, south, east, and west. And it's a casket. What does that tell you? It comes from the heart of the earth. But it comes from something that's a little bit closer to home. Something that is that is inside of us. Well, our heart has 4 chambers. Yeah. And out of the heart of man issues forth all these terrible, nasty, deadly things. But there's something else. 4. Adenine, guanine, cytosine, thymine. The 4 base pairs that make up and connect together the 2 strands of our double helix DNA that's like a sealed, closed book. See it now? This is where we're going with this, okay? Because they're going to promise you life by mingling something in with your 4 base pairs, your DNA. That's what they're going to mingle themselves with the seed of men. That's the goal. The power of the grave in the 4th kingdom. So, you go to the Masonic Lodge. I want to join that lodge. I want to be part of them good old boys so I can always have me a job. Okay? And that's what happens. Okay? That way if I ever kill my wife, you guys will get me off. Will give me a square deal, won't you? Okay? That happens. Trust me, it happens. All right? So anyway, you go in the Masonic Lodge. They're going to take you through this little ritual of the Blue Lodge. You got to go through the first 3 degrees so you can graduate to the 4th one. And it doesn't matter if you're York Rite or Scottish Rite, you have to go through the Blue Lodge, 3 degrees, and then you can go on to the 4th. And the 3 degrees of the Blue Lodge is the death and the resurrection of Hiram Abiff. And so Hiram, you see, I've talked about this before. Hiram is smitten in the head. And he falls and he dies. And the lion's paw, the lion, 5, the paw, the 5, he has 5 things. And the lion's paw resurrects him. See, the star falling from heaven at the fifth trumpet, I think, is Lucifer. How fell fallen from heaven on Lucifer? And I think he is the one who opens the pit and resurrects the dead God. That's Hiram Abiff. It occurred to me that Hiram Abiff in Masonry was the Antichrist. And that whole thing, the scenario of him being smitten in the head, him falling down, and then being lifted back up again into new life, is a picture of the rise of the Antichrist in the fourth kingdom, the power of the grave. So think, and I've talked about this before. I've been intending to do this video, never have. John Fitzgerald Kennedy, the 3 bullets that we know of. Some say there was 4, that's fine, okay? But think of this, the 3 bullets that we have evidence of, that we know of for sure. One went through the neck. Did you know the first ruffian smote Hiram Abiff in the neck? Then there was a wound in Connolly's left breast. Did you know that the second ruffian smote Hiram Abiff in the left breast? The third wound went through Kennedy's skull, I think from the front. Okay? I do. I believe it. I've stood at that fence on the grassy knoll going, this is where you kill somebody, right here. Okay? Bam! And it's over with. So the third wound goes in Kennedy's head. Hiram Abiff is smitten in the head, and he dies. You know how old Kennedy was? 46 years old. It was a ritual. It's what it was. And it was done on the end of an obelisk. Main Street and Elm Street and all those, they all form. If you look at the street layout, it forms an obelisk. Anyway, so, power of the grave. Take a look at this. Benny the Hindu, Benny Hinn, and all of the people like him, they want to do one thing that they claim is essential for you to be a Christian, and that is to hit you on the head and you fall backward as dead, and then you're going to raise back up again. That's not in the Bible. It's not. It's a perversion. They call it baptism of the Spirit, don't they? But they also call it what? Slain, murdered in the Spirit. You know what slain in the Spirit is? Power of the grave. People fell for it. Literally, they fell for it. I went to a church. I let them put their hand on my forehead, and there was a guy standing back me like Johnny Bench with a catcher's mitt going, come on, I got you. And I didn't fall backwards. So they went down the line, they come back, did it again. Like, why didn't it work the first time? So they did it again. They tried it again. You see, I had asked God, if this is for real, I want it. But if not, please, Lord, I don't want to go outside your will. Protect me from it. And you know what God did? He did. He protected. I didn't feel the electrical shock. I didn't feel anything. God put a hedge around me. And God helped me to withstand when the slayer was trying to slay me. Those of you who have come out of that movement, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I've had people to call me, write me, Pastor, man, we got slain in the Spirit, and we can't even begin to tell you the dreams we started having, the bad things that started happening, the convulsions, evil spirits around us. I'm warning you people. I love you. I want you to go to heaven. I don't want you to go to hell. Don't let the power of the grave slay you in your spirit. Don't let the power of the grave kill your spirit. Don't let it happen. Please. You don't need it. You don't need... You know what? I'm baptized with the Holy Ghost. Read the Bible. Read the Bible. Jesus said, my words, the words that I speak unto you, they are spirit. You want to immerse yourself in the Spirit? Read this book. You'll get wet with all kinds of Spirit of God on you. You don't need that stuff. It's a setup is what it is. So now watch this. Okay, we're going to follow The power of the grave, and a lot of times, along with the casket, there's this emblem of a book. And I want you to see this book here and what it represents. In Revelation chapter 5, I saw in the right hand of him that sat on the throne a book written within and on the backside, sealed with 7 seals. And I saw a strong angel proclaiming with a loud voice, "Who is worthy to open the book and to loose the seals thereof?" And so, what is this book here? We've talked about this. We have a video called Jesus Christ DNA in the Holy Bible, and I teach you this book, Psalm 139. We're going to look at that here in a little bit. But there's many things that this book is, but one of the things that this book is our DNA. Psalm 139:16, "Thine eyes did see my substance, yet being unperfect. And in thy book all my members were written, which in continuance were fashioned, when as yet there was none of them." I got some cool things to show you. You're going to like this. Okay? So anyway, here we have a book in God's right hand. And David said, "Thy book is where all my members were written, that were always fashioned when Mommy and Daddy came together and they loved each other very much, and I was just this little ball inside of Mommy's womb. I didn't have arms, legs, and hands, and fingers, and hair, and tongues. I didn't have that. But as I grew older in Mommy's tummy, why, then this book that was written of me started forming fingers and skin. And I have 5 on each hand, and 5, I'm talking like a baby. But you get the idea. That's what that is. It's amazing. And see, this book it's rolled up and it's sealed. Okay? And then they just kind of give you a little illustration. Let me show you this. DNA basically is a book. And it's written like with 4 base pairs. Adenine, see the GGTACC? That's adenine, guanine, cytosine, and thymine. That's what that is. And those 4 join together in a certain sequence to form genetics, genes, and there are 22 amino acids, just like the 22 letters of the Old Testament, Hebrew, that make the book that we're written in, that writes the book of our flesh. And notice that it's rolled up like a scroll. When a cell is going to divide, and you're going to, every cell in your body makes new cells. That's where the new cells come from the old cells, just like, children. And when that happens, the DNA from the cell, the old cell, has got to go into the new cell. I was just looking at kind of how that happens. I kind of talked about this before, but let me explain this to you. What happens is the book, it's all scrolled up. It's rolled up like a scroll, a roll of a book, the Bible says. What has to happen for the DNA to go to the new cell? It has to be unwound and opened up. The DNA book is opened. The scroll is unrolled. And then you have a mechanism that rightly divides the book, the word of truth, and it takes half of it, puts it into the new cell, and the new cell knows the rules, and it makes the other half, because it's not DNA if it doesn't have the 2 halves. It's only RNA. It doesn't have the 4th thing, thymine. Okay? And the 4 join together, and so I've talked about this before, but I want to show you this. Who is it, the only one who has the power and the right to open this rolled up, sealed book? Number 4. Revelation 5:5. One of the elders saith unto me, Weep not, behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David, hath prevailed to open the book and to loose the 7 seals thereof. When he had taken the book, 4 beasts and 24 elders fell down before the Lamb, having every one of them harps and golden vials full of odors, which are the prayers of the saints. Why am I smiling from ear to ear about what? Okay, the Lion of the tribe of Judah. So what? Reuben was the firstborn of Jacob. Simeon was the secondborn.